Morning guys, how's it going? I am on the road in Illinois right outside of Springfield, and I just checked the weather, and it has sort of an interesting news here. I'll let you listen to it.
Gusty showers and thunderstorms Monday. That dark green area is where we could be looking at strong to severe thunderstorms out ahead of this strong front. Its impacts not only producing the strong thunderstorms, but drastically and dramatically cooler air will be following this front over the coming days. Look at how deep this trough is, this dip in the jet stream. You can see the outline of it here in the water vapor loop, dry air in yellow, moisture in white. You can see all the...
That guy's a pretty excited. Whoever that guy is, he is destined to be a meteorologist. But yeah, it's interesting. So they're talking about torrential. They use the word torrential rain. Other than interesting weather, I'm not really interested so much in stopping and smelling the roses. I sort of want to get to Flagstaff. I spent the morning at a Starbucks finishing a video for tomorrow and printing 2 flyers, brochures that will end up being incorporated into my talks at the show. You know, once the van is finished, then there'll be all sorts of opportunities to travel and hang out at these places and take all sorts of interesting drone shots and whatnot. But right now, it's more or less about getting to Flagstaff. It just sort of hit me slightly, the idea of expense, especially with regards to the expenses for the cycle tour and the expenses for driving. Obviously, I'm going a farther distance every day, but I sort of enjoy crisscrossing. I enjoy the idea of covering ground. When I was cycle touring, I would do like 60 miles or like 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers every day. And I would be traveling a lot. I mean, I would stop for maybe 2 or 3 days in a place, but then I would just be going because I had a lot of ground to cover. And I enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed the idea of covering ground, you know, but it didn't cost anything. I would arrive at a destination and a hostel was a hostel, or camping out was camping out, or, you know, a boutique hotel was a boutique hotel. I was going to have to pay that no matter what. So in the vehicle realm like this, you don't have that because you can park in a parking lot, or you can park in you know, a park or different places. I haven't paid to stay somewhere yet. I'm sure I'm going to have to as the van gets finished, and as I start venturing out into like more like beautiful parks and places like that, I'll have to pay. But the fuel cost is not inconsequential. And I don't know what I was thinking before, but going from I just need to put fuel in my mouth in order for me to keep my legs turning around the crank, to I have to put Jayoe. I have to literally Jayoe, because Jayoe is my brand. Jayoe means add fuel. It literally means add fuel. In China, if you're running out of gas, you'll say, well, Inga de Jayoe. I have to add fuel in order to keep going. And fuel when you're cycling is, you know, food. Fuel on a journey is whatever interests you. Yo can mean whatever drives you. But in this case, what drives this van is petrol. And every 16 or 16 and a half miles, there's $3.20 of petrol. And that doesn't sound so bad when you say 16 and a half or 17 or 20, maybe even 100 miles. But I'm driving 2,000 miles to Flagstaff, and then I'm driving 2,000 miles back, and I'm starting to think about going to Oregon and visiting a supplier there, going to Florida, Tallahassee, and visiting a supplier there. It racks up. I'm going to have to work harder on my videos. I'm going to have to work harder on the production. I'm going to have to work harder on my Patreon, because I've got to make sure that I can sustain this, not just burn through my savings. If I want to run this tour the way I was cycling, the costs are gonna be considerably higher. Just something I'm thinking about. Anyways, we're driving through near to Kansas City. It's warm outside, 91 degrees, but there will be a cold front coming, and it's going to get down to the 70s, which will make very nice sleeping weather. It's bringing a pretty crazy storm front with it. A lot of wind. I'm a big fat boy right now, so I'll get pushed around. All right, guys, so this is a deal. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video here, but I think that I secured a cooperation with Victron Energy. Victron Energy is the company that makes the inverters, the switches, the electrical backbone, I call it. Like basically, if you get power from whatever source, whether it's the alternator or the solar panels or the shore power or your batteries, it all gets redirected and funneled through an electrical system that juggles all of that power and all of its different parameters and then dishes it out to all of your components. The company Victron was one of the companies I reached out to. I actually contacted them in the Netherlands because they're headquartered in the Netherlands, and I said I made a video for them. Actually, I made an introduction video for them, and I made an introduction video for a lot of companies that I'm going to be talking to in the next few days. And anyways, they forwarded my name to the people that run their programs in North America, and then they gave me a call, and we hit it off pretty well. I loved their products. They're very clean. Coincidentally, when I wanted to buy a trike to cycle around the world, because of the recumbent trike tour, I chose HB Velotechnik in Germany, because they were, from what I could see, the best brand for that product. And I've got to tell you what, they have stuck it out. They were an amazing product for all the time that I rode them, and I can't wait to get that trike back. So I talked to Victron about over a week ago, and what they told me is that they're interested in my journey. They're interested in being part of it, and that is amazing. It's such an amazing thing to be able to be to a point in my life, in this YouTube game, that my voice carries some weight. I talked to the gentleman at Victron, and he said, the first thing we want is for you to meet some people who can guide you how to build out your van in the best way possible. That is exactly what I want. I want to be able to just like my trike when I was cycling around the world. I wanted to know everything. I flew to Germany to build the trike at their facility in Kriftal, outside of Frankfurt, Germany, and I built that trike. And then I disassembled that trike, and we shipped it to China, or I flew it to China and I rebuilt it. Twice, actually, because when I was run over by the truck, I needed another one. So I flew out to Germany again, I rebuilt it. I'm sort of back to square one with this van life thing, and I want to make sure that I know the ins and outs of this, and everything that goes into it. And I want to make sure when I build something that it's going to be the best build feasible with the current technology. If I was a NASCAR driver, Victron Energy would be like the biggest patch on my jersey, and having that, very, very cool. This is amazing. And so what he said is, I want you to meet one of our traveling ambassadors, and this guy is a professional installer and teacher of these systems. Basically, he helps people install their systems, and Victron contacted him on my behalf and said, we've got this guy, his name's Matt. We want to get him set up with Victron. We want you to tell him everything he needs to know in order to take further steps on his path to getting his van built. So he's going to be in Philadelphia, and I called him and we contacted. He seems like a really nice guy. You're going to meet him. And he's like, I have an installation to do in Philly, but I'm not sure when. I'll let you know, maybe the beginning of October. My schedule is very tight. So I'm going to drive all the way to Flagstaff. The event there is 23, 24, 25, 26. And then on the 26th it ends. Then his build starts on the 27th in Philly, and it's going to be around 4 days. So I'm going to have to hoof it all the way back to Philly to meet with him. It's going to be very, very tight. I'm excited. It's very exciting because I'm going to meet all of these people at this show, and I'm going to be like, I've got to leave right after because I've got to meet a representative from Victron, and I'm doing a video with Victron. So that's actually quite good. The goal at this Flagstaff show is to talk to all of these vendors and then set up a North America tour of all of the biggest vendors so that I can travel around and find the best this, the best that, the best this, and make videos at each place. And I guess Victron will just be the first place. But I was planning on having a little bit more time the first few days in October. This is not that. This is like a few days after the end of the show, and then I'll have to do another 2,400 miles back. I'm putting a lot of miles on this van. Oh boy, a lot of miles. I mean, the quicker I can get this van built, the quicker I can get on the road and start the real journey, which is meeting people and talking to the people and taking my time and venturing around the North American, around North America. Before I even built it, I have to understand, all the ins and outs of this life and this components. And so having Victron supporting me is fantastic. I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I'm also thinking about money. Holy moly, it's a lot of money back and forth and back and forth. I was hoping, ideally, I would like to stay on the West Coast for a while, venturing around, maybe going up to Oregon and different things before I have to come back. So I think I'll go meet with Victron, armed with that knowledge, come back to Detroit and really start plotting out and calling these vendors and saying, listen, I've started this venture, I'm going around, I'm building this tour of all of these component manufacturers. Do you want to be on board? I'll tell you what, I've got a bunch of people on board already. I haven't told you about all of them, I don't think. I will. After Flagstaff, I'll know a lot more. Jayoe. I'm gonna try and put down some extra distance tonight. I took a nap at a truck stop for a little while and I feel pretty rejuvenated. Anyways, I'm listening to some classical music and it reminds me of my dad. My dad, we would take road trips as a family going camping and stuff, and we would just be listening to classical music the whole way. He loved listening to classical music on the road. I was always like, does it make you tired, classical music? Apparently not. He loved it. Anyways, talk to you later.